Hello and welcome everyone. Today I wanted to show you my latest match in War Selection. Let me give you a little heads up on what it is about. Due to some connection issues, I got connected almost a minute after match start, and so did some other players. Many of my teammates either got disconnected or left the game, so that in the end my team only had a random guy, my two premates and me in it, while we were left against 10 enemy players who approached us with some early aggression. Overall, we did not aim to win this match, but maybe take some enemies with us and just have a good fight while we can. I apologize for the stutters in my recording. I hope you can enjoy the video nonetheless. So here we are, just after 3 minutes. Most of my teammates have left. One more will leave in the coming 20 seconds. And then that's it, just us four. Due to how helpless the situation is, I choose to go with the only strategy that I know has the potential to take multiple enemies with me before I die. European Axeman. After recruiting my first Axeman in the Iron Age, I clear another metal source and some extra space so that I decide to increase the number of barracks from 15 to 20. The plan is to keep the Axeman recruitment up as long as they are effective, and in the case of Axeman, that can be even against enemies who are in the Industrial Revolution era already, which justifies the investment. Advancing to the medieval era is so important because it allows you to increase the population cap up to 150. We want to make full use of that while keeping our resource income high enough to keep the constant recruitment up, so that we use around 70 population capacity for our economy, which allows for up to 80 Axemen at a time, a force to be reckoned with. Shortly after I send my first squad of Axemen to search for enemies, I get a visit by unwelcome guests. Enemy archers send some ranged stabs onto my farm workers and threaten my whole operation at this early stage. Fortunately, I could send my Axemen back in time before any severe casualties were taken. After realizing that the greatest threat to my existence lurks in the south, I sent my raiding party with the warmest "Get off my property!" on their way. Fortunately, the enemy did not use the time to prepare a bigger archer army. Building multiple towers is a nice gesture, and sending some skilled warriors from the Far East is much appreciated, but nothing that can stop me from taking down this enemy. After sending some early light knights to an early grave, I approached the enemies in a more serious manner, by building towers to increase my line of sight. The next enemy is found shortly after, and due to a lack of archers and walls, he finds himself back in the menu with some juicy tech points. As my new recruits are being caught off guard by enemy reinforcements, I have to make a call. Do I release my recruits and secure my line of supplies, or do I outrun my arch nemesis, the enemy wall that is being built? Just in time, my Axemen managed to set a foot into the enemy door, which gives me a moment to handle enemy raiding parties in my base. After I overcame the biggest threat to my next kill, I march on to do what has to be done. In the next enemy, I finally faced a bigger challenge. Also due to my thinned out army in the front line, I decided to destroy his forge and slaughter his men, to make the next approach easier. Although looking back, it would have been smarter to kill his farm workers and maybe destroy some more houses. He can stop me, and at this time the remaining enemies had enough time to prepare a proper defense, so I'll lower my expectations and expect to get destroyed anytime soon. Since I expect a stronger defense, I decide to switch my target, so that my incoming reinforcements have a shorter way, and maybe I can find some enemy who does not have his army ready to defend. While my base suffers under the attack of a legionary army, I accept my fate and try to take out one more enemy. Just as I hoped for, I find an enemy completely unprepared to go down. Because of the slow approach of the legionnaires and the quick slaughter of my victim, I decide to send my entire army to the next enemy, before I bite the dust, to leave as much chaos as possible, and therefore helping my team one last time. I feel a great burden off my shoulder as I see my allies' cavalry striking down the very army that was sent to stop me for good, so that I live to die another day. Unlike the player I stumble across next. For the first time, I face an enemy who has already reached the Industrial Revolution era, but still lacks the proper units to defend against my army. Before I focus his capital, I make sure to not have his machine gun towers shoot my axemen down, while ending his governorship. After my attacking army was eventually cut down, I choose to raise one final army of axemen so I can execute a final charge and attempt to move on to the Industrial Revolution myself. In order to do so, and to save costs, I offer an ultimate but logical sacrifice. Together with my teammate, we attempt to take on the Western European enemy that my army was too thinned out to eliminate. With his tanking units and archers plus my axemen, we cannot fail. Also, this enemy has built surprisingly few defensive structures, despite knowing what was coming. Happy about our success at the front, I do not even care that a huge cavalry army is coming to destroy my capital. After all, I delivered a hell of a fight, which makes it easy to embrace my coming end. One more time, my teammate sends aid in form of cavalry to help me deal with the attack, and thanks to the few towers I had built, and the few workers that survived the initial raid, I managed to repair my capital just enough to survive and return the favor. The only enemy who had ever sent an army of archers to defeat my Axeman did not have much time to enjoy his superiority. In the end, we managed to turn this 4 versus 10 around with only one enemy dropping out early, and staying alive until the end, thanks to the help of my teammates. A special thanks goes out to my friend Supernova, who did his best to keep the enemies busy, and my friend Y, who saved my ass multiple times throughout this match. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'd appreciate any feedback in the comments below. Thank you everybody for watching, and see you in the next one.